I think beauty standards today could just be categorized as full hair, full lips, full lashes, full
You
everything.
know, you have to be thin. You have to have a big bust for girls. You know, now there's like an epidemic around big booties, big lips. You know, everything big basically, except for your waist. Um, you know, you have to definitely have makeup on your face. Um, you know, your hair has to be in some sort of style. For men, you know, you you have to be attractive. You have to look, you know, put together. Or I think definitely whatever's trending at the
Nature.
moment.
So people who are skinny, people who are have really great facial features, great bone structure, really nice hair. And when I say nice hair, I mean like good hair, maybe like straight hair or curly hair, or you know what I mean. Um, yeah, so things like that. Maybe tallness and you know, uh, pretty eyes, things that really appeal to people.
I feel like
How
there are so many products on the market today, and I think there's too much pressure on people, especially women, to always look their best. So, if that means buying the new cosmetics, diet aids, or going as extreme as plastic surgery, injections, I feel that some people are just willing to pay whatever it takes to try to not age and also to look like someone else. So there's all these celebrities that people want to look alike, and they go into their plastic surgeon saying they want so and so's nose or lips like this person.
I feel like, we've come a long way in the process of beauty and fashion with standards, but I still strongly feel like the main standard in today's society when it comes to beauty is looking good, aside from feeling good. Like to be honest, it doesn't matter I feel like it doesn't matter how over the top or obscene the piece of clothing or beauty is on a person, as long as they physically look as good as what they're portraying to wear. I think that's more important, because it sells more.
I think that a lot of us women feel the need to go out with makeup and hair done and cute outfit every single time because, you know, if you're caught in sweats and just, you know, hair all messy, bun and no makeup, it's kind of like you didn't try. And I think it's looked down upon.
Basically, they're telling women or even men that their bodies or their lifestyle or the way they look isn't good enough to what the accepted beauty standards are.
I think that today in the world that we live in, everybody wants to be pretty. Everybody wants to look good, and everybody wants people to admire them for their beauty.
It varies from everything: skin, color, weight, sexual orientation.
Healthy, fit, and thin. Like, we've grown to love all shapes and sizes as a society, but high fashion always demands like a perfect figure.
Yeah. Everybody today wants to be a superstar. Everybody wants to live their life in the limelight. Everybody wants to look like Beyonce, or everybody wants to look like, Ray Shremmerd or Snoop Dogg. We aspire to be like the people who are mostly portrayed in the media.
Standards like these are translated to the public all the time. From turning on the TV to just opening up a magazine.
Public advertising. That's, to put it simply, definitely advertising via Hollywood. Definitely just like Kylie Jenner comes to mind. When she got lip fillers, a lot of other girls started getting lip fillers. That became like a thing, and people started getting self-conscious about their lips, like, including me, like, or are my lips too thin, So now there's like a whole, epidemic around, like, you know, lips and lipstick and all that. Same with how eyebrows went too. But yeah, ads, whenever people are trying to sell stuff, definitely whatever Hollywood puts out.
Models are known to be skinny, tall, and that's mostly due to just eating disorders and drug habits, which is pretty sad because it's promoting these issues to the younger crowds of what is beautiful and what's not beautiful.
Like that's pretty much all you see on social media, magazines, television. There's TV shows specifically about makeovers. Everything from wardrobe to full body makeovers, including pretty extensive plastic surgery and teeth.
I think we're starting to see less and less of companies trying to sell based on what beauty standards are, and more of an influence from people who have a social platform. With social media as high as it is right now, it's pretty easy to see that people with 1 million or 100 million followers are mostly the people that fit our society's image of what's beautiful.
Question, do I think that people are sheep for buying it? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that when people see really physically attractive models, you know, in their designer clothes, they instantly think that they could look like that, or they could, you know, at least aspire to, like, you know, be a trend or something like that. But, you know, they're kind of like wearing they're kind of like buying into their senses of clothes all for the wrong reasons, I feel like. You know, it's one thing to, like, boost up your wardrobe and, you know, maybe wear something to make yourself more confident. But if you're solely just doing it just because, like, it's like a trend or a fad, then, yeah, that just makes you a sheep for buying into it.
I think everybody has their own specific reasons for what they think is beautiful or what they aspire to be in terms of, you know, the physical.
We are sheep, those of us who do buy into some of it. It depends on how far you go with it, though. But people buying into it, I think that's always been a sort of a thing, because trends have existed for as long as I can remember, you know, like back in the days, like when corsets were invented, women, you know, corsets are in, you have to go get a corset. So it's always been a thing, you know. Would you call, you know, women sheep back then, I guess?
Media, like commercials, movies, social apps, I feel like we always see a similar person that's meant to look beautiful somewhere online or on our phones, laptops, TVs.
There's nothing that's original anymore. It's, I guess, like, whenever there's a new trend and people buy into it, that's been going on for as long as I can remember. But would you call people sheep, like, for herding into it, I guess you could say? Like, yeah, if that, I mean, that's generally what they're doing, so I guess you could.
I don't think people are sheep for buying into it, especially in today's society. There are plenty of people who realize the game that the media tries to play, and we try to look unique instead of fashionable, or however you want to word it, the standard.
Buying all these products thinking that they're going to make you look like the person that is promoting them. A lot of those people don't even use the products. They just put their name on them, or they are being paid to endorse them.
They idolize people who are beautiful. They idolize people in the media. They want to be like them. So, and as a result, people live their lives and, you know, as if they were these people. So
the standards that are kind of now a regular thing in the beauty industry, I think, make the consumers feel like if I buy that product, then I'm going to look like that person. You know, like I said, there's TV shows that are about having a full body makeover, including radical plastic surgery. And rather than the person being happy with themselves, they try to create themselves into somebody else, somebody that they're not. Maybe just because that is the hot person in the public right now.
I have to be this way and able to go out. I have to be to this level of beauty. So in order to walk out my front door, this has to be done. I think that generally people are just wanting to meet the standards, because I do think the standards of beauty are getting higher and higher.
Yeah. Sometimes I might look at a model and I say, oh, they're very pretty. Or I might look at a rapper and say, oh, okay, I think, this person is very attractive. But I also consider the situations that they're in. They're in situations that normal people are not. They have resources that normal people do not. They have money that normal people do not. So, I feel like they look the way that they do because of the money and the resources that they have. I think that as technology advances and as we move more into the future, it seems to be moving towards where you can customize the way that you look. And I'm talking about how, plastic surgeons, I'm talking about the Hollywood lifestyle, where if you have the money, you can make any changes to yourself. I mean, look at Lil' Kim, case in point. I always thought Lil' Kim was beautiful the way that she was, but she's had so many surgeries and so many operations and things that to me now, she looks like the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I get affected by advertisements, of course. I love makeup. I love hair stuff. I love body products. But I know that I'm not going to look like those people just because I use them, because I'm not them.
In a way, I think it's dumb for people to buy useless products just so they can look a little bit more socially standard, but I do also think there are people that genuinely think they need the stuff
Pay
to be
attention
beautiful.
to that. With me, it's like I pick certain things over other certain things. It's that I pay more attention to. It depends on how realistic it is, to me. And those are my standards, I guess, and it just depends. But it definitely does, affect, I think, me. When age plays into it, when you're so young and you see all these images and, this is how it's supposed to be now, I think it definitely plays into it. I mean, I'll just say, when I was 14 and in middle school, it was the trends were flare jeans and Jack Purcells, but we still had on, us girls, we had on our Paul Frank t-shirts and our braces, and, and our eyeliner looked like crap. No one knew how to do contour and all this stuff that 14-year-olds are now into. 14-year-olds now look like 20-year-olds because how they're dressing and, how they're doing their makeup. I will say it's weird shopping a lot, and something that I've always thought about a lot is when I go shopping and I'll go into a store, Forever 21, and it's I see these little 13-year-old girls in there, and me being 23, almost 24, I'm am I in the right shop? But before there was even the kids section at Forever 21, there was just teens or, the young adult section. And I'm am I in the right shop? Am I too old to be shopping here? It made me, and it still makes me self-conscious. It should be called Forever 16 now, because they definitely don't sell clothes for 21-year-olds. When lips became a thing, it's I don't think if Kylie Jenner ever got her lips injected and it became such of a media crazed thing that I would ever feel self-conscious about mine. I don't think that was ever a thing that I was self-conscious about before, but now that it's brought to attention these days. It is something that's more looked at, more scrutinized, and so you feel the need to conform. I know I certainly do. And I think it's hard. It's just how it affects me. I mean, I like to go out with makeup, preferably, but there are days where I am lazy and I will go out without makeup, and I'll just put on big sunglasses to cover my face and a hat or something. And, I think that says something, like just the fact that, like, I feel like I need to hide my face when I don't go out with, when I do go out with no makeup. I know I thought I had it all figured out with makeup, just your basic foundation and, eyeliner, mascara, until now all this contouring and stuff came out. And as a almost 24-year-old, I'm, stuck thinking, what is this? I have never dealt with this before. It's never been a big deal with contouring, eyebrow shaping, just a lot of this new stuff added. And I think it's just gonna keep getting more detailed, zoomed in on by the public. And, pretty soon it's gonna be something really stupid, like, just besides eyebrows and lips, like, it's gonna be next, it's gonna be eye color or eye shape, like, and even though, and I say that as to, everyone's eyes are round, right? But, if some people have bigger eyes, or, their eye shape is like, say, like almond or something like that, and like there's round eyes, almond eyes, and, people are going to be like, oh, now I have to have plastic surgery for my eyes because they're not the right shape. They're too, like upturned or slanted or, droopy or something like that. I think it's just going to become more and more detailed and almost not real. Like, not even just talking about plastic surgery, but just with makeup trends and everything. It's just like there's so much going on now to hide your real face. It seems like to make it look like there's an effect on your face, like a Snapchat filter. There's so much going on with that now that it's almost as if, when you put your makeup on, you're a whole different person. Wow, you're enhanced. You're beautiful. But what happens when you take that makeup off? That's not the person you actually are. That's, not how your face looks 24/7. We're going to look more and more animated, like what we see on, like, videos, movies, video games. Like, you see, like, we're going to yearn to look like Disney princesses who are essentially perfect. That's pretty sad. I don't think we're aiming to look like real people anymore. I think we're aiming to look like the perfect version of people.
I think these beauty standards are heading to something that is unhealthy and could damage, like, your whole life. Say, the beauty standard is to be skinnier and skinnier and taller. The people are going to do anything to do that sort of thing. Or maybe they're injecting some kind of chemical into their body to make, like, their butt look bigger or their lips look bigger. That is also going to affect their health.
For the most part, I think it's very unhealthy. I think it creates different mindsets for people to have. Like, they don't see what's in the beholder, rather focus more on, like, what's on the outside, and that can cause so many bad stereotypes.
Right now, everything seems pretty unsafe for the most part.
For instance, like, the runway, specifically, like Fashion Week, and specifically runways, I think models are are very thin, and I think that that's, I guess, the fashion business, but I don't think that that should be an example of how women's bodies are supposed to be, because it's basically like just a mannequin for trying on clothes.
Well, looking fit is awesome. People wanting to stay in shape obviously isn't bad for you, but harming your hair with chemicals or getting Botox, liposuction is. I honestly think people look more gross with Botox than liposuction, so I don't really get the point.
You can't aspire to be something that you don't, or you can't be. You can't, in other words, you can't live your life like Beyonce if you don't have Beyonce money. So it might affect your finances, or it might affect your life.
Person. Some people take these things to the extreme with radical plastic surgery, and I would hope that any kind of reputable plastic surgeon wouldn't take a patient saying that they want to look like so-and-so. How about if you just look like a better version of yourself, or kind of enhance what you already have instead of wanting to look like someone else?
Or if you sacrifice like your health, but not just like overweight, underweight. Now we're seeing more of a presence of not just weight, but now we're seeing plastic surgery play into it a lot more. And when people stock up so much on the plastic surgery, you get, now your fake boobs and your fake lips and your fake, whatever else, your tummy tuck, your butt lifts or your butt enhancers, whatever. That's what makes them happy. Like, instead of like finding like happiness within yourself or something you're passionate about, it's like that's their little pick-me-up. For example, like a lot of, I think all women mostly go, like when we go shop and, we get a little pick-me-up when we buy new clothes, and that's okay. As long as, you don't go overboard with your spending and that becomes an issue. I think anything too much of is an issue. Like, of course, if you overdo it, but, when it comes to plastic surgery, I think that it just, if you get it done too much, now you're just sacrificing your health. And that's what's scary about it, is that beauty is held to such high standards these days that it's become a quest for happiness, because that's, I think, what we're meant to think, is that if we're beautiful, we should be happy.
Yes, I do think some beauty standards are unhealthy. I think when people take their desires to an extreme like surgery, that it could be unhealthy. With how quickly beauty standards have changed in the last 10 years, I think it's somewhat dramatic to go under the knife to achieve a look that could be considered ugly within the next decade.
I think a lot of women these days do it for society or for someone they're trying to impress. And I don't know, I don't care what anyone thinks. And I know everyone's like, says that and says, I don't care what anyone thinks. And I guess I'll say I do to a certain degree, but as in I don't think anyone wants people to view them as like weird or like ugly. No one grants anyone any slack anymore. Like, us women actually tend to be catty and tear each other down when we don't try. Or if we overly try, you almost have to be like not too over the top, but not too underdone.
Think that things have changed so much in the last 15 years or so with the plastic surgery craze. I think people are trying to go more natural, but at the same time to defy aging. So going more natural with less extreme plastic surgery, but definitely a lot more fillers, more Botox, more things like that kind of trying to prevent them from aging naturally.
I think that we will see less of the lighter skin is better idea in the future, and different cultures and people's beauty standards will kind of morph into something.
It's hard to say if people will get more superficial about it or just really lazy. It's a hard question because every day a new trend is evolving.
Do I think people will, begin to defy it? I think some people will, but I think that the sheep movement, as one of the previous questions stated, is just too big. People buy into anything these days.
What makes me unique? I don't know that I would say that I have any quality that is unique just to me, but
I think everyone's unique in their own way. But like when I do something to alter my appearance, as in, try a new makeup technique even, or if I get my hair dyed, or if I cut it, or, if I cosmetically do something, or if I get lip fillers, anything, if I do any of that, it's for myself. So I think I'm unique in that way, and I'm sure there are some other people that live by those rules also. I know I just contradicted that statement by saying that. To think that something makes you so unique that you're different than everyone else. Because when humans are so different, they're also so alike.
I'm beautiful to myself. I can't say if others think the same, but I'm comfortable in my own skin.
I have days where I feel handsome and some days I want to dress up for fun and feel beautiful. So I guess on a good day I find myself feeling that way. Some days not as much as I would like to feel.
I think that I'm unique in a lot of ways. I've been told by a lot of people that I am a interesting paradox, and even I believe that. But one of the things, if I had to answer it, I'd definitely say that what makes me unique is my unjudgmental, unbiased view of the world and people. Beautiful and handsome? Hell yeah. I think I'm the bee's knees. No, but seriously, yeah, I do. I think that I have some really great features that make me really, really stand out. And there are some other features that I wish that I can change. Well, let me rephrase that. There are some other features I know that I can change. I just have to work on it.
Also, I consider myself beautiful because I consider myself beautiful with or without makeup and on any outfit I'm wearing, because everything I do for my body is 100% my decision, and I get influenced from none of the beauty standards, none of the models, although we all want to try to be like those models. Like, you are your own body and you are unique and nothing can change that. I think something unique about me is that I just do things for myself, and I don't follow any kind of rules. If one day I want to go to school and just wear sweatpants and have my hair in a bun and just have no makeup on, I'll do that. I won't be pressured into trying to look good and feeling pressured and trying to look really good for something that I don't need to do. I just need to focus on, like, academics. I don't need to be focusing on how I look.
I wouldn't consider myself ugly. I would consider myself pretty. For the most part. To be honest, to answer this question, though honestly I can't, it depends on the day. Some days I roll out of bed and I feel great. Even if I don't put makeup on that day, I'll feel beautiful, and other days I'll roll out of bed and I'll be looking at the same face, but I won't feel nearly as good as I did the other day.